What a weekend of racing action we have got to look forward to. It's the second and third day of the Berkshire Winter Meeting, some cracking racing at Haydock, and the likely lads are either side of me once again to look forward to. And in my eyes, boys, I'll start with you, Frankie. Is this the best couple of days or 3 days? Obviously, we had Friday outside of Cheltenham in the UK.
You could be right. It's a cracking weekend. It's got. I love the fact that it's spread over obviously Haydock and Ascot with the big guns, and then the new addition at Windsor. It's a brilliant weekend, and I suppose in many cases it's the last chance we see some of the big guns like your John Bond before we head to Cheltenham, and obviously Trials Day. But as a weekend as a whole, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's brilliant. I'm looking forward to settling into the sofa tomorrow and just soaking it all up and having a good watch. Yeah, it's a great weekend.
And you, Joel, looking forward to it. Winner's the winner at the end of the day, though, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about you, but I would like to say happy birthday to my friend Frankie. Forget the racing. The only reason he's here is because it's his birthday. So happy birthday to Frankie. Yeah, racing's great. And I see I moved away from that quickly, didn't I? Happy birthday, Frankie. Racing's great this weekend. And probably because we've had a lack of it since the new year, all the big guns are coming out and maybe getting a little run into them, like you said. So I'm dead excited and intrigued as well to look how Windsor rides. I don't think we're putting any massive bets there. And you said the fields have come right down in size, but we obviously don't know how to ride it yet. So let's find out.
Apologies. Happy birthday, Frankie.
Thanks, mate. This is the highlight, obviously.
Obviously, naturally, yeah. Well, as it's your birthday, let's talk about some mares. 140 at Ascot is a mare's hurdle. It's where we start. And I'll let Joel start because he knows how to pronounce the favourite.
Yeah, I don't think it really winds me up in football and in racing. It's the only two sports where people have in their head how you pronounce a horse, and the commentator will call a horse something, and that's what but they've already had it. We've had Cargizi. It is Carges. Carges. That is how you pronounce it. But listen to the commentator tomorrow. Look, it's part of a very, very early double, I think, for me. Been first or second in all 8 races. Comes off that 269-day break. I was trying to look for some value, but this horse, she's out by a mile and she's mile clear. Only one maybe for the forecast or a little each ways. All the glory from John Joe's yard. 4-length win at Southall. The stable lad was on that last time out. Ben Macy takes off the 10. John Joe's back on board. It's around 14-1. But I think if you're looking for something to stick in a lucky 31 this weekend or a nice little acca, Carges is the one for me. Or Cargisi or Cargis if you're stupid.
I know you like a short price mare, Frankie. You with him?
I am, yeah. I'm with him and I'm with her. Yeah, she's got all the form. No need to overcomplicate it. Second to Madgeborough, second to Sergino. Got a nice win under her belt already this season. And Paul Townend over for Mr. Mullins. Be very hard to stop, won't she? I think she, as Joel said, I know where he's going with the double. And I don't mind the dirty double this weekend. I don't mind it at all.
Okay. Wait for the second leg. It won't be the 2:15 because it's a competitive handicap chase. Martator and Cottmas meet each other for the third time at Ascot. You know I'm a big fan of Martator. Up and trip back at Ascot. Big hike in the weights, though. Are we with him or are we against him, Frankie?
Yeah, it's some training performance, isn't it? Up 33 pounds since he won last March. He's been a winning machine bar last time out. And that was obviously the starting point. It carries a lot of weight and you go through the field and see what might be well handicapped to beat him. I think it's going to be hard work. I know that he gives so much weight away, but that is because he is streets better than a lot of these, to be honest. Cottmask is £8 better off, but he has 11 lengths to find. The only one, if you're brave enough, is Phlegmatic. And you're not trusting in his recent form. You're trusting in the money that's come. And the Scouting's pulling off a bit of a touch because he does have some old Ascot form to his name. His mark has come right down to 132. And last season, he was winning off 137. He was competitive at Ascot off of 138, But you look at his recent form, beating 56 lengths, 38 lengths, 17, 45, and 10 behind Victorino last time at Ascot. Can they pull a touch off with him? Maybe, but my conclusion was Martador is that much better than these, and Ned Fox bridges that gap by £3. So I reckon he can win again.
Okay, yeah, Mark over Frankie. I think he'll go close. What does Bad finish second to, Joel?
Oh, do you know what? I'm done with that horse. It really is well named, isn't it? Remember,
He is just bad, isn't he?
yeah. The hype. You mentioned Ned Fox. I've been really, really impressed with him this season, and obviously being at Venetia, she's brought through Sam Thomas and who else she bring through? Obviously Charlie George, Aidan Coleman. Charlie George first mentioned, and he hasn't ridden the horse yet, but he is a lossy mouth later. More on that to come. The first three in the market priced up absolutely perfectly for me. They've all run against each other. First beats second, beats third. If you were getting a fourth place, I might just have a little bit on Tedley here. You've got to put a line through that last run, third of three to Kelif de Burley. Just one go in that day, but I think may scrape into the first three. But Martador, a lot in common with Matt, has gone up £33 since last March.
I'd take that.
Yeah, I was going to say, the handicap has been good.
Are you not with him then, Matt? You think he'll go close? Is that because you fancy something else?
No. He's I love it. He's up in trip, but we know he'll stay. I'm just thinking if they're going to get the improvement out of him, obviously stepping up in trip is probably the likely way. I mean, Cotton Mask is very well weighted to reverse the form with him, despite being 11 less behind. It's a heck of a hike, but he was outpaced at Kempton, wasn't he? He couldn't go a yard, and he stuck on. And don't forget, that was a Grade 2 handicap, so he's slightly down in class and slightly stiffer nature of Ascot. I think he'll suit. So yeah, I'm going to be with him. I absolutely love him. I am going to be with him. Just the hike is a big hike, but then again, I did think he may turn out to be, potential one of the outsiders in one of the championship races. So yeah, no, I'm definitely with him, and I'm with one in the 250 as well. I'll go last. Okay? Wide open competitive handicap hurdle, and I've had plenty of discussions about these. There's a heck of a lot of pace on in this one, Joel.
There is. I was devastated because I was looking at nap material in this race, and this might be a Frankie sort of horse as well, but I was devastated when I saw the price this morning of 7-2 clipped into 3-1 Bo Zenith. If you'd have seen that last time out, was it 18s or 20-1s into 13-2 or 7-1 or something like that? Changed hands from Gary Moore to Nicky Henderson, and either was given too much to do, but it seemed to have made up about 16 furlongs. In the last furlong, it was flying. The money was down that day. It didn't go unnoticed. I thought, hey, we've got one here. Straight into the tracker, thinking I'm the only guy who's watching this. And even the Racing Post put eye catcher, and it's 3-1. I think this horse ridden slightly differently, maybe a little bit closer to pace. I think this is borderline nap material, Bo Zenith for me.
Okay, Joel with the favourite, Frankie.
I'm going to play the Nicky Henderson forecast. Couldn't split either of them. This race has a lot of horses that I've backed previously, and I think half the field's well handicapped. Something's got to win and something's got to lose. But the two most obvious ones, even though Altabelli's in here, which me and Joel have, or most people thought was a certainty last time out as well, and he might still have a win to his name. Bo Zenith for the reason that Joel said. The owners like a touch. It's been well supported. It's very lightly raced, and the run last time out, if we're in a bit close to the pace, would go a lot closer to home. But I just can't ignore Doddy the Great back at Ascot, where he won on his return after his injury, and then he has some strong form. At Newbury in the Betfair, fourth in the race that Iberica Lord won. Lodeshead was second. It's finished behind Godante as well previously, who obviously went on to have good hurdling season. There's just a lot of collateral form with good hurdlers, and I don't feel like it's come to fruition for Dolly the Great yet for whatever reason. Even more sneaky, perhaps, is pulled up after one hurdle at Kempton when the Henderson Yard had the very well-backed East India Express out for the second time in a week or whatever, which went and won nicely. So there's a lot of signs to me that says Dolly the Great is still better than 129. I'm certain of that. If he's good enough to win, we'll find out. But it's a Henderson reverse forecast for me.
Okay, he's got three now. I'm going to have an each-way play here on Georgie Gill. So there's so much pace in the race. Gosha likes to go forward. As you mentioned, Stoner's Choice, Josh the Boff as well. Wilfall's made it before. So there's a lot of pace on. And she travelled so well when winning at Warwick, and she did the same at Cheltenham. She was last off the bridle, just flattened out up the hill. But I think she'll travel into this race. Ben Jones, great Christmas period. Philip Hobbs is absolutely flying as well, and his team. So I think Georgia goes a knocking each way, but I do around about 12-1. So that's 3 against the field in there. Then we come to the Clarence House.
The conversation that's going to be taking place in the parade ring. Every single trainer is going to say to every owner, "Have a few quid on. I think we've got tons in hand here because everything is well handicapped. So if I owned any of these horses, yeah.
It's frustrating because you have an early look and you think, "Oh, I like one," and by the time the decks are cemented, I like 5 in here, and then you've got to try to decipher which one can go and win. But
well, that is a totally different contest to the Clarence House Chase, which obviously the market has as a match. So we'll find out. Frankie, are you John Bon? Or are you Energumen?
I'm John Bon, but the horrible saying of he's probably too short, which translates to I don't have the minerals to back him at 4-6, basically. But I come to the conclusion that he is your most likely winner. At first thoughts, I was probably with Energumen because I still can't really get his pasting by El Fabiolo out my head in the Arkle, and I had to think, God, has he ever actually beaten anything of top class, or has he just been beating the likes of Boot Hill and those sort of horses? So I went back through all of his racing, and to be fair, you've got to give him more credit than maybe I have been doing, especially in the Malin Chase at Aintree with Conflated, Envoy Allen, Protectorat, who just won a Ryanair behind him. He's beaten, Captain Guinness by similar lengths to Energumen had, and I feel like it's a thing of beauty, really, when you look at all the ones next to his name and how he's been nurtured along by Nicky Henderson. It's turned into a proper 2-mile chaser, hasn't he? And credit to the yard, because a lot of people wrote him off maybe when he got pumped in the Arkle, but he has just slowly been getting better and better and better. And hopefully this weekend he stamped his authority on a top-class opponent in Energumen and gets the credit as top level. I don't think it'll be easy, hence why I said I haven't got the bottle to back him at 4-6, but I feel like he can slightly edge it.
Never been beaten anywhere else other than Cheltenham. He's in the John Bon camp, Joel.
Yeah, I think John Bon is like a footballer who just turns up to one of those conventions, takes a few quid, signs a few autographs, and leaves. Is no trouble. That is the thing when people say that he's he just beats the same horses over and over again. What is he? 16 from 19, 3 defeats. I think in this, if you're English, you will be saying John Bon, and if you are Irish, you're going, "Oh, this is nice." Energumen, nice price there. Won that hilly way by 10 lengths. Let down by the Dino Blue and Appreciate It form, but I've got the Banbridge form in there. Stat, no 11-year-old has ever won this race in its current format. I thought John Bon would win, and I thought Edwardstone would maybe come second. Behind that was Martador, wasn't it? The race that Soul Icon won. And I think, and I hate seeing it happen, I think Paul will make the run in on Energumen, try and get John Bon at it. The legs and age has caught up with him. He will be pulled up, and Edwardstone will be staying on at the end. So I think John Bon 1, Edwardstone 2, and that's for me. And I think that stat, no 11-year-old won this race in its current format. Is an age
that would be Willie Mullins going home with his tail between his legs.
Yeah,
again, fits an English point too.
Yeah, too right. Well, we're going to
be. He's been beating this race. Am I mad?
Are you mad?
I want to get with Boot Hill somehow. I am mad, yeah. I want to be with Boot Hill somehow. I mean, I don't expect him to beat John Bon, but he was a length and a half behind at Cheltenham, and we know he's an Ascot horse. He's 3 from 3 over track and trip. He's beat Fred Arm, all right, handicapper, giving him 2 stone. Beat First Flow, right, he's the old boy. He beat So Scottish when he was trying.
Wow. Right.
You need Super Johnny Burke on, the Ascot wizard.
I want to be with him somehow because he's back at Ascot. I say there's no forlorn hope. I don't know. Well, asking too much to win, but
if John Bon wins, John Bon wins, Boot Hill second or Edwardstone second. I mean, you could back them both the forecast, and you know what's going to happen, don't you? It always happens when you fancy one like that and you put it to come second to the what you think is a good thing. You don't do the reverse.
Yeah, right. In the John Bond camp. Okay, right. Let's move on to Haydock then, and the 155 Royal Infantry odds-on favourite. Is this the one you're talking about, Joel? Is this a supreme contender? Is this why Harry has gone to Haydock?
Yeah, Harry's gone to Haydock, obsessed with winning that 500 grand. I think he spent it in his head because, I saw a little clip on social media about, who's winning it and what would spend it on everything. And Harry knows he's winning this. He's coming up to the heavy Haydock ground. Was eighth in the champion bumper, wasn't it? Dan said straight afterwards it would be a better horse on better ground, so I'm not sure why he's going to Haydock where it's always heavy, even if it's good to firm. What else is in the race? I couldn't find anything apart from it's now second favourite, Dedicated Hero Sandy Thompson. But it's got £10 to find, but does like it soft, and obviously the 6-year-old will improve. But I think it is a penalty kick for the Fav here, and it's the second part of my double. I did bottle it and not put John Bon in there as well because of other reasons. But no, I definitely go for the second part of the double. I think it's a good thing this weekend. There's some real short price favourites that I don't think will do out, but Royal, what's it, Infantry? Yeah, that'll do for me.
Yeah, Frankie.
Yeah, that's the dirty double. I think they'll both win.
Okay, Corgis and Royal Infantry. The short price double. I think that'll be hopefully the boosted one with the bookies this weekend. Let's move on to the Peter Marsh then. It's heavy, sustained handicap chase. It's Manish Williams and Charlie Deutsch, isn't it?
It's not. Too much to give away with good horses in. Surely. You can't give away a stone to Trelawney or a stone and a half to Imagine. I'd love to see him win. It'd be an immense performance if Royal Puggai can win, carrying 12 stone in this, in my opinion. And he has obviously done it before, but in much weaker fields. I'd say this is a strong renewal, and good horses are getting a hell of a lot of weight. I'd like to see Trelawney win. Imagine is actually the worry for me. He's being well backed. He was obviously well backed on his debut at Cheltenham. It didn't turn out, a horse that cost a few quid, and probably his best form was we won a Grade 2 in Ireland, didn't he? He was also he's pretty well beaten by Grange Clare West, to be fair, but you'd expect him to improve. I just have to be with Trelawney at 3 miles, getting a stone. He carried top weight last time in the race at Victorino, won. That didn't work for him, but having Royal Puggai in there to top the weights, I think makes life easy for him. He's run well here before. I said at the start of the year, I think he'd be best at 3 miles in a handicap, and I'd say this is his chance. So I'm with him. He could be the bet of the weekend for me. I really want to take Royal Puggai on.
Okay, taking him on then. Is it dangerous to do it, Joel?
No, I'm taking him on as well with Trelawney as well, and I think it's up there maybe next best this weekend. I would love to see Royal Puggai do it. Obviously, I won't because I'll be back in Trelawney. Fell the second, won it in the Ultima. But what's that Iroko race back, the graduation chase? Like that. Was fourth in the Silver Cup at Ascot in December. Sometimes I think it looks a little bit limp, but I mean, with a pull at the weights, I thought the prices are wrong. I thought the prices were so wrong. 9-2 Trelawney this morning. Royal Puggai 9-4. I'd have them both around 5-2, and I couldn't have Mr. Van Gogh, so he'll hack up now. Nice emotional win last time, but no, not for me. I can make a case for every horse in this race apart from Richmond Lake and Chambard. I can even make a case for Bill Baxter, but no, Trelawney.
We've all backed him.
You're looking at some of these, and I went through every horse last night. I bored myself to tears with this race. How long are you going to be, babes? Not long. But no, I think Trelawney is the wrong price. I mean, if you're a Frankie type, you might want to back it each way. But no, I'd just be all over Trelawney and make sure you're taking that price.
Basically, Royal Puggai can't give a stone to Trelawn, and then I thought, I don't know if Trelawn can give half a stone to Imagine. So be one of those two. But I've got to be with Trelawn based off of how I thought his season might pan out at the start of the year. Got a big 3-mile handicap chase in him, in my opinion.
Okay, let's look at the 305 then next. You mentioned it earlier on, Joel. Charlie Deutsch on Lossiemouth off a marker 134. Just bet the century.
Yeah, I think it's because it's been transferred to Polygundry as well. And that's it, it's being backed. So the trainer upgrade, the jockey upgrade, the new colours. I'm not going to get into how they can do this. I know one's, I just think it's a typical, a little Google search will sort you out on that one. I had this earmarked right at the start of the season for Major Fortune. This was going to be the target. Wasn't entered because needs a longer break and bombed out last time. I really like 2 in this race, but I got it down to a combination that you mentioned earlier on, our firm solicitors, Hobbs and White, who have been doing really well. I thought Philip Hobbs was finished at one point, but they're doing really, really well again now as a couple. I don't know if they're together. But won really well at Taunton last time. Callum Pritchard was taking the 7 off. Michael Nolan is on for the race this weekend, and he's up £4 for that. But had a lot, I would say, had a lot in hand. Essentially up, what's that, £11 in a better race. But I think he's got an engine, and it's. I just thought there was so much more to come, and I think if they didn't think that, they would have put a conditional back on. But Tiny Tetley in this race for me.
Okay, Tiny Tetley for Joel. Frankie?
I like Lossiemouth. It was a big.
It's not the Lossiemouth.
It's not that one.
Yeah. Richie hasn't sold Lossiemouth and stepped her up 3 miles on heavy ground at Haydock. No, the other Lossiemouth, I do actually think has a great chance after a long absence. Was a good 4th at Newbury, probably outran his odds at 50 to, or definitely did at 50 to 1. Hermino AA, I think, runs on Sunday at Windsor. Would give a chance to, but the horses in front basically all went up a little bit in handicap, and a couple of them have run well nicely next time out. So the fact that I doubt they're expecting that performance after such a break and such a big price, and then the horses in front have done all right since, suggests there probably is more to come. And soft ground 3 miles looks like it suits. The only thing that is a bit odd about it, you would rarely be mad keen on our man Deutsche over hurdles 3 miles. It wouldn't be his bag, would it? But yeah, I give Lossiemouth a good each way chance.
Okay, Lossiemouth then. Right, let's move on to Sunday because there's 3 races at Windsor that I want to talk about. Some absolute crackers as well. It's a 2-mile handicap chase at 155. Actually, Martator's entered here, but expected to be pulled out and run obviously at Ascot. Harper's Brook. What a ride that was last time out at Weatherby from Keelan Woods. Tough contest. Probably 8 going to go. Placing at handicap, Frankie.
Yeah, and you know what? I would give Harper's Brook another chance. Keelan Woods supposedly has found the key, and to only be put up £3 might be generous. His weird racing style and attitude might actually play into his favour with the handicapper, because it's impossible to know where his limits are. He could just keep winning but still have a lot in the tank. And right back to when he was a novice hurdler, I remember Ben Pauling saying, if there's one, I went to the yard and he said, if there's one horse you take away from it, it's Harper's Brook. It was the most expensive bit of advice I've ever been given, because he could never win any races. But he is talented, and he has only been put up 3, and he'll obviously be ridden in a similar style again. So I would give him a chance. One that I've had on my books for a while as well is the other Scout and Horse, Unexpected Party. I feel like in a handicap, he might actually be able to have his say in a race like this. So is that the only 2 they've got? No, they've got 3. It's the 2 Scout and Horses, probably not the ones you'd expect, but Unexpected Party and Harper's Brook. Pardon the pun.
Yeah, and Joel Harry is on Etalon. Are you with the Skelton, one of the Skelton trio, or elsewhere?
I'll be watching the market for Unexpected Party, and as soon as that moves, as soon as it moves half a point, you got to get that one. Again, it's it's a second meeting at Windsor, so I have no idea how you're riding it. But I would have at the Skelton 3, I'd have gone for Harper's Brook as well. Obviously, Harry's on what he perceives to be the best horse, wants to win that big pot of 500 grand. But pretty much what Frankie said. I mean, travels strongly, this horse, but then looks like it's absolutely knackered. So, the handicapper can't put it up too much. So, yeah, I'd take a chance with Harper's Brook in this one.
3 mile handicap early at 2:30. I'm really excited to see Manila Missile. He could be well handicapped. His last team beaten Captain Teague, who went on to win the Cello after that. He's back off 15, 16 months off the track. But again, a nice handicap to get stuck into. You mentioned, Frankie, earlier, Hermino AA.
Yep, I'd give him a chance. He was fourth at Kempton last time over 2 mile 5 furlongs. I think he got outpaced a touch. I think he missed one, the second last or third last, which didn't play into his favour when finishing the race. I'd say back up to 3 miles is going to suit him. And as mentioned previously, that Newbury form hasn't worked out too badly. He does carry top weight, but Freddie Mitchell takes off 5. I'd say he's got a good chance here. Quite like him.
Firmino AA off top weight. Joel?
Jipco or Jip Cut, if you prefer. Last time out, John Joe was pulled in for this. Keelan Woods, another great ride. I think the excuse is something to do with, did it have wind surgery or whatever, the improvement, and it was 14-1. It wasn't smashed, but beat Mr. Hope Street by 8 or 9 lengths, something like that. And Noel Feely Syndicate were really high on Mr. Hope Street, and it was, properly put in his place. So I'd go for Jibcott for a second win, and Keelan Woods again doing magic in the saddle. So if he can ride Windsor, brilliant. If he can't, let's bring Richard Hughes back on a Monday night in the first.
Yes, good to have jumped back at Windsor, isn't it? Right. We've had a little bit of a few going back into over messages regards the Fleur de Lis chase. Brilliant renewal. Hopefully all 8 do go. Some cracking entries in here. They've really been rewarded. 165 grand. I'll let you take the stand, Mr. Joel Ross.
Well, I've just pulled the prices now, and I'm gutted because I was doing some bits last night, and I should have got on at 8. So it's now 5. Ahoy, senor! Right, and I did say on the WhatsApp group last night, ahoy, senor! Don't shoot me for this one. Scoo still says it's probably the best horse he's ever seen in his life, and strokes it every day and puts ribbons in its hair and puts it in plats and whatever. The Betfair Chase didn't like the ground. Look, getting £8 from Protectorate, Jello, Pigdorty, with me. Look, that Aintree run in October, Dr. Fox should have got 6 months for that. I mean, inside in a hard prison. He's pulled in by the stewards as well. I mean, there is blatant and there's blatant, but he was riding to instructions. I think there's one here, and it's the pull at the weights. Ahoy, senor! This will be the very final time I back this horse until Aintree. But ahoy, senor! Yeah, got to be done. Got to be done this weekend. Got to be done. Anybody is putting up J-Lo because just getting better and better and better. I reckon with Pete, right? We're gonna go with ahoy, senor.
Now, Frank, I know there's a lot of messages between us going back and forth. Did Joel sway you into ahoy, senor?
I think he has. I think the £8 is pretty enticing, isn't it? I backed Protectorate last time out when he was beat, and I backed ahoy, senor last time out when he was pulled up. One of those, I think, is going to pay me back. And I might actually wait till they start racing. If Protectorate goes forward, I think you'd have to fancy him. I mean, make your own judgment up why they held him up last time at Huntingdon. But they said that they thought the key to him was 2.5 and to go forward. So if he does that, he'll have a good chance. But if they start racing and he's held up, then, cash your bets and get out of there. And it is ahoy, senors for the taking. He's a classy horse. 2 mile 6 be fine for him. £8 is a hell of a lot to get from horses that are all a similar sort of standard. And I said, Joel, I don't think you're actually mad for once.
Well,
Or at least not in this case,
Yeah.
anyway.
Right.
Come on, man.
Come on,
What
then.
you got?
Doesn't Windsor? I know we haven't seen loads of racing there yet, but strike you as a track that Piccadilly would love, but he just probably wants a slightly quicker surface, maybe.
Yeah, and Trip as well. I'm not sure through 3/4 May, just stretch him.
Yeah, he's quite nimble, isn't he? Like, I can see him.
But it is quite a tight track. It looks quite a tight track. So
Yeah.
Anyway, best bets times.
Oh, Trelawn. This is his day. This is his 3-mile handicap chase for the taking.
Trelawn, Frankie. I think Joel might be going to Hoist Senior here.
Do you know what? I'm sitting here and I'm going to think, Trelawn, is it this? I'm going to go a Hoist Senior this weekend. My best bet of the weekend. Last time I will back this horse. The £8 pull, though, for me, has got to be done. And you've got to write off, the Betfair Chase because of the ground and that race at Aintree in October. Langadan-esque. I would go a Hoist Senior, best bet of the weekend.
I like it. Right. Brilliant stuff. 10 races looked at. Brilliant weekend of racing. Cannot wait for it. Join us next week when we obviously look back on all the action in our Road to Cheltenham series. And then this time next week on Friday, we're going to look at Cheltenham Trials Day. Best luck wherever you're back in this weekend. And hopefully we'll see you next week on our Road to Cheltenham show.